Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here. I want to see if I can try to pull this together. The people of Puerto Rico are in a really lousy position. They have been hit hard by 10 years of recession, and now they're crushed by debt they cannot repay. And ordinarily, a city in this kind of financial trouble would declare bankruptcy, a country would go to the IMF, and in either case, they would work out a reasonable debt reduction and a repayment plan. But Puerto Rico, by American law, cannot do either one of these, and that leaves the 3.5 million American citizens on the island at the mercy of the people who hold Puerto Rico's debt. So who owns Puerto Rico's debt? Many of these owners are so-called vulture funds that wait until a borrower is in trouble, and then they buy the debt at a big discount so they can make a profit even if some of the debt doesn't get repaid. But the vulture funds don't want to negotiate. Instead, what do the vulture funds want? Well, they want Puerto Rico to raise taxes, cut health care, fire teachers, cut pensions, sell off $4 billion worth of government buildings, privatize public ports, close neighborhood schools, and cut support for the University of Puerto Rico, all so that these vulture funds can squeeze out more profits. Now, Mr. Mark Swatch, what would happen to the people of Puerto Rico and the economy of Puerto Rico if they did what the vulture funds are asking for?
Well, it's essentially another round of austerity that would be imposed on the people of Puerto Rico. We already have done pension reform. We have fired government employees. We have cut expenditures. We have raised taxes since 2009. So obviously, what it will do to the economy is make the actual recession or contraction even more acute.
Okay.
So I don't think it's part of the solution.
So it will make things worse
Definitely,
in Puerto Rico.
in my opinion,
worse for the people, worse for the future
Yes.
of this economy. Mr. Weiss, I understand that the Treasury Department's position is that Congress should pass legislation so that Puerto Rico can force creditors to the negotiating table, the same way any American city or any country can do. I believe that Congress should pass a law. I have co-sponsored such a law, and I will fight for it. But I also understand from your testimony that you've been working with other agencies to guarantee Puerto Rico has access to existing federal programs. You've worked to encourage other agencies to pursue all administrative options. But I want to be clear on this point. Is it your position that Treasury itself has absolutely no power to help the people of Puerto Rico without congressional action?
Thank you for the question. The administration has organized, led by the White House, an interagency effort, and we are part of that. There is a dedicated team at Treasury. There's also a dedicated team at HHS. We have been working closely with the governor, with the legislative leadership.
I'm sorry, just help me out a little bit on what working with means. I just want to understand what Treasury is doing to try to help out in these circumstances.
We have analyzed the finances of Puerto Rico. We are here to say today, with no ambiguity, that there is a liquidity crisis and that there is a fiscal crisis. And it's our strong belief that the most powerful way forward involves broader bankruptcy protection, as you stated, which would allow us to bring creditors to the table who would otherwise have no intention to enter into negotiations.
Ms. Rice, I'll push on Congress to try to pass these bills. But frankly, I think Treasury needs to step up and show more leadership here. I agree with Treasury's recommendations to Congress, but let's face it, in Washington, sometimes things like this that sound good amount to just passing the buck. You know, during the financial crisis, when the banks were in trouble, Treasury did a lot more than just bail them out. Treasury stretched the limits of its authority to make sure that the banks stayed afloat. It helped broker deals between banks. It applied pressure to get parties to accept deals they may not have liked very much. It has done that in multiple other crises as well. And now the people of Puerto Rico are calling. They understand there is no bailout on the table for them, and they are not asking for one. After all, they aren't a giant bank. But they are asking the administration to do what it can to help broker deals, to stand up to the vulture funds that are pushing for a vision that is far at odds with the people of Puerto Rico and with all American citizens. Puerto Rico's not trying to protect its profitability. They just want to make sure that the families of Puerto Rico have a chance to build a future for themselves and their kids. And I urge Treasury to be just as creative in coming up with solutions for Puerto Rico as it was when the big banks called for help.
Senator,
Thank you.